Hello everyone and welcome back to Nightmares in Nature. As always, I'm your host Mr.G. Today, we discuss probably the most famous bird of prey of them all. Or rather, the two most famous birds of prey of them all. Eagles and falcons. Now, despite their similar appearances, these two birds are actually part of different families. So, before we get into specific species, let's talk about their differences. With the eagles belonging to Accipiterae, and falcons belonging to Falconidae. Now, you might be wondering about hawks. Well, honestly, hawk is literally just another term for eagle. So, yeah. Some differences between these two birds. Eagles tend to be a bit stockier and larger overall, while falcons are slender and, things like that. They're pretty minor differences, but hey, it's mostly biology and DNA things that keep them separated. Alright, now that we've got differences aside, let's get into some specific species. And with the eagle, what better place to start than with the most famous eagle of them all, the bald eagle. Haliaeetus leucocephalus. Now, the bald eagle, despite its name, is obviously not bald. You see, the bald part of its name actually comes from an Old English word that means white. So, yeah, it's not really the bald eagle, it's the eagle with a white spot. So, yeah. Now, despite being the most famous eagle, the bald eagle is not really a good place to start out with, really, when talking about the general behavior of eagles. Since you see, the bald eagle, how do I put this gently? It's kind of a glorified seagull, if you get what I mean. You see, while the bald eagle will sometimes prey on small land animals, their diet primarily consists of fish. They'll dive into the water and scoop fish out with their talons. And when they scoop the fish out, they refuse to let it go. This has sometimes led to bald eagles drowning, since sometimes they'll actually grab a fish that's too heavy for them and the fish ends up pulling them into the water where they end up drowning. So yeah. Like most birds of prey, female bald eagles are noticeably larger than the males, and they make massive nests that they never leave, instead just keep building onto it year after year. Also, bald eagles mate while flying! I'm not even kidding! Moving down south of the border a bit, we got the Harpy Eagle. Harpia. Now the Harpy Eagle is pretty famous for its big game hunting. Well, not really big game, but interesting choice of animals is a better choice of words. You see, the Harpy Eagle is famous for eating large monkeys like the howler monkeys. In fact, the Harpy Eagle is sometimes referred to as the largest eagle, but that's actually pretty contentious since there are other contenders for that title based on weight and things like that, so yeah. The Harpy Eagle got its name from the Harpies of Greek mythology, which is a fitting name since like most eagles, the females are indeed bigger. So, yeah. Now for hawks, we got the RedTailed Hawk, Buteo jamesinius. These Latin names are pretty confusing sometimes. Anyway, the red-tailed hawk is famous for its call. You might recognize it for the fact that it is the call heard in every single movie whenever they have an eagle or a falcon, despite the fact that other eagles and falcons have their own distinct call, and they sound nothing like red-tailed hawks. Yay! Moving over to falcons, probably the most famous of them is the peregrine falcon. Falco peregrinus. Now, the reason these guys are so famous is because of the fact that, according to some sources, these guys could be considered the fastest animal on the planet. You see, when the falcon is diving towards its prey, it can reach speeds of over 200 miles an hour. Wow. However, this claim of fastest animal is actually a bit contentious, since it's not its regular movement speed, but rather it's being assisted by gravity when it does this. So as such, there's a lot of scientists who say that the fastest flyer should be considered the mallard, but others say the peregrine falcon is valid since no other flying bird reaches those speeds when diving. And really, it's all up to you guys. What do you think? Do you think the peregrine falcon should have that title? Or what do you think of this incident? Now, in addition to being super fast, like most birds of prey, the peregrine has very good eyesight, being capable of seeing tiny prey from miles up in the sky, and when they see them, they can dive on them with extreme accuracy, making them very great predators. Another falcon is the gryfalcon, which I'm only mentioning because I think it has a cool name. So, yeah. Oh, and I guess I should mention the Osprey so people don't bring it up. Now, despite its appearances, the Osprey is not a hawk or a falcon. Instead, it belongs to its own family. And just like the bald eagle, they're basically glorified seagulls. There you go, there's the Osprey. You don't need to mention it to me anymore. So, there you go. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the cards. Honestly, of all the Eagle and Falcon cards, the only error I can find is that it definitively calls the Harpy Eagle the heaviest eagle. And as I mentioned earlier, that's kinda contentious considering other species reaching similar weights and sizes. So yeah, Harpy, I'm deducting half a point, so 9.5 out of 10. Also, that is a very gruesome image. They even drew its rib cage being ripped into. Gross. Other than that, though, I can't really find any other errors of any of the other Eagle cards. Although the Martial Eagle card is pretty funny. On the back, it looks like it just got caught staying up late, and it's just like, Mom, I swear, it's not what it looks like. I just kind of find that funny. So yeah, Peregrine Falcon is fine. Stellar Sea Eagle is fine. Bald Eagle is fine. And the Gryfalcon is fine. So yeah, all of them except Harpy Eagle get the 10 out of 10. Now let's get into human relationships. Pretty much ever since humans started civilizations, the eagle has been an animal that humans have had great respect for. In fact, looking into basically any mythology and regions with eagles or falcons will show that they have commanded a lot of respect through the years. For some examples, in Greek mythology, the head god Zeus's main symbol was an eagle. I previously made a video talking about the thunderbird, which is featured in several Native American folklores. It's basically a large two-headed eagle that has storm powers. I've also made a video talking about the roc, a creature from Persian folklore that's also a giant eagle that lays massive eggs. Well, obviously it would lay massive eggs. Why would it lay tiny eggs? Oh, and according to legend, the Aztecs chose the spot they did for their civilization because they witnessed an eagle eating a snake on top of a cactus. In fact, this story is actually represented in Mexico's flag to this day. So if you've ever wondered why there's an eagle eating a snake on the Mexican flag, that's why. But speaking of eagles and representing things, eagles have become the national animal for several countries. Mexico has the golden eagle, Panama has the harpy eagle, the Philippine eagle is the national animal for, well, take a guess. The white-tailed eagle is the national animal of Poland, the Gryfalcon's the national animal of Iceland, and, most famously of them all, the bald eagle is the national animal for the United States of America. And alongside the panda and kangaroo, it is one of the most famous national animals. But speaking of bald eagles and humans, this brings us into the topic of eagle conservation. Unfortunately, many species of eagles and hawks are listed as vulnerable. Not endangered, but pretty close to being endangered. However, the bald eagle is one of the biggest success stories in conservation. You see, back in the early 1900s, farmers used this pesticide that contained a chemical called DDT. It was mostly used to kill bugs. And the DDT would end up spilling off of the crops into local water supplies, and it would infect the fish that swam in them. The eagle would eat the fish, and while the chemical had no effect on the adult eagles, they would cause the eagle to lay eggs with very thin shells, causing many dead eagle babies. Eventually, in order to protect the national bird, this chemical was eventually banned, and eagles have greatly made a comeback. Sadly, though, other eagles and falcons aren't as lucky as the bald eagle. In media, eagles appear quite frequently, and as I said earlier, their calls are almost always that of a red-tailed hawk, even the bald eagle, which in reality makes more chirping-like noises like songbirds. And because of the fact that it's the mascot of the United States, the bald eagle will often be portrayed in media as stereotypically American. So, yeah, there's that. And finally, because of an eagle's great vision, it's led to the common saying of having eyes like a hawk or eagle eyes. So, yeah, that's all for this episode of Nightmares of Nature. Join us next time for a bit of a laugh, if you know what I mean. Bye!